Cyrus Engerer.
Thank you, Chair. 14 years. This is how long this Parliament and specifically this committee has been talking about saving lives in the Mediterranean after 53 people who dreamt of having a better life went missing between Libya and Malta in May of 2007. So my question is, how many times are we going to have the same conversation? For 14 years, we have seen the same thing happening over and over again. Migrants leave the north of Africa. They make the dangerous journey across the Mediterranean Sea. Sometimes they do not survive. The EU, governments, world leaders send their thoughts and prayers. We host a debate in this committee and sometimes in plenary if the death toll is high, and then we do the whole thing over and over again a few months later when we have a new boat that capsizes in the Mediterranean. Colleagues, I am sorry, but I must point out that governments and institutions sending their thoughts and prayers is becoming nothing but a show. Having these debates in this committee is important, but it does not mean that we are improving the situation. This is because we as a Parliament have done all that we can in this regard, but nothing can happen unless Council moves forward with a common position. And Council simply does not, and has never had the political will to deal with this issue. In fact, maybe after 14 years, it's time to recognize that our approach on the issue of lives being lost in the Mediterranean Sea simply is not working. Maybe after 14 years, it's time to stop discussing the same issues over and over again and start to discuss how action can be taken by the Commission against the Council or certain member states for not acting on migration, leaving periphery member states on their own. People are dying in the Mediterranean because a number of member states continue to hold the rest of the European Union hostage when it comes to the migration issues. The selfishness and nationalism of states and council who refuse to take responsibility of Europe's migration crises is what is leading people to die in the Mediterranean. But yet, this is not what we are addressing today. Instead, we are focusing on frontline member states and all the ways they fail when their resources are being stretched to an impossible limit. Colleagues, if we want to contribute towards a global discussion which encourages less lives being lost at sea, then we must focus on the real issues here, and that is Council's lack of political will on migration. It is clear that we can avoid people dying in two concrete ways. Firstly, ensure safe and legal routes of asylum seekers looking for international protection after facing persecution, such as humanitarian visas, a concept which was once again rejected by the EU because of, surprise, surprise, the Council once again, and by strengthening our legal labour avenues. Secondly, is to remove this Council monopoly on migration once and for all. I hope that in the upcoming months, as summer approaches and we'll start seeing more and more people risk their lives in order to have a better life and more people crossing the Mediterranean, that this committee starts to get serious about putting blame where blame is due, and we should call a spade a spade. I could not understand how the Commission representative is left begging to have member states show solidarity between each other. This is totally unacceptable, and I believe that action must be taken immediately by the Commission against those member states who totally do not care